I started about 8 or 9, I think, and a lot of kids start younger than that. And I never played touch rugby. I went straight into full contact stuff. I remember watching rugby on TV, and I think just surrounding everyone around, all the adults around you, just being so like passionate about this one thing on the TV, shouting and screaming at the TV, singing at the TV. You know, it kind of gets you interested in it.
Here, it's in Wales, it matters hugely. You know, if Wales win an international event, everybody feels a bit better when they walk down the street and go to work on a Monday morning. Similarly, of course, if you lose, particularly at rugby, tend to be rather long faces.
Wales obviously is a very passionate place. There's obviously rugby itself, my story, having played rugby as a kid, everything is about rugby. You grow up looking at the Six Nations and wanting to play in the Principality. That's what everyone wants to do. They've all got the Welsh Rugby jerseys, and I think instilling that passion into me, and people around me, like everyone within sport in Wales is very passionate about the country that they're competing for and competing in. I wanted to play more and more, and then I got into a club, and then that's how it started, really. I just loved rugby. I loved more about the environment you're in. In Wales, and especially if you're a rugby player like I was, and like a lot of my friends were, it becomes who you are, it becomes your identity, really. And that's almost what it is your identity, the sport. So when you walk down the street, you know, obviously I come from a smaller village, and you walk down the street and people know who you are instantly. They know you're the rugby player. You know, I've also got a brother who plays rugby, and you know the two of them play rugby. And that's almost how it is, and that's the first thing people ask you. So I would say it becomes your identity. I was playing for Swansea at the time, and it was just a normal game, and it was the last play of the game, and I got a bad pass, and I go to carry the ball, and I do like any other time, and basically my knee just snaps under me, and lots of horrible stuff happen, and I'm there left laying on the floor looking up at the sky going, what am I going to do? Knowing instantly at that time that there's no way I can play this again. So I went into the to the hospital on the Monday, just before I went into the Ospreys, and they basically said to me, look, your knee's fine, it'll be fine. The movement in your foot and the feeling in your leg, it'll come back, don't worry about that. You'll be training in 3 weeks' time. So obviously hearing that, I'm absolutely ecstatic. This is going to be amazing. It's only a little stumble, it's fine. Getting to the Ospreys then probably an hour later, my mum had come along with me, and I'm only 18 at this time. We're sitting in the room, and I'm telling her that it'll be fine. Like, we've been told it's going to be fine. And then the first words the surgeon said was, this is not about playing rugby ever again. This is about getting you to walk. Like, you probably will never walk again properly. We talked about that loss of identity, and you almost feel all of that in one go when you're on the floor. What the hell do you do when you grew up in a culture where the first thing people ask you is, like, how's rugby going? And you're like, well, I don't play it anymore. And that constant emotion coming back to you, it is hard. I was lying on the sofa, not being able to do anything. I needed to find something, so I tried all sorts of different things just to see what I actually like to do. I never really found something until then. I started training again, and then I realised training is what I love. It's building towards something. Around that time I was coaching rugby, still trying to stay involved, but I was really struggling with the fact that I couldn't just go out there and do it. I wasn't allowed. I could, but I wasn't allowed. I was coaching the kids, and there was another coach alongside me, and he just asked me, like, are you disabled? Do you know that? And I'd never thought of it, because obviously I'd gone through a professional rugby environment from 16. I'd got all the best physio. They'd never ever once said anything about it. But the fact was I couldn't move my foot, or couldn't feel anything from the knee down. I never ever considered it. And you'd think that might be a bit stupid, but when you're really pushing and striving for something, you don't ever take a backward step sometimes. So I didn't know. And essentially I got put in touch with DSW. They're a athletics team here, and they work alongside British athletics with parasport and the Paralympic Games. So I went along and they were like, yeah, well, of course you are. Of course you're classifiable, and you can really make a job at this. You can really have a go. I was terrible. Oh, I was terrible. But that's what I loved. It was something else I could do. Like I always said that it didn't matter what I was going to do. I needed to put something into it. I needed to put what I'd put into rugby into something else. We talked about it before. It could have been watercolour painting. I don't know. I could have been a groundsman. If I was going to be the best groundsman I could. And as soon as I found that avenue, then nothing could stop me. And I've not looked back since. I love it.
So for someone to gain an injury at the pinnacle of their career, that could have, well, was career ending for his rugby career, to be able to turn that into a positive takes such a big character, it takes a big personality to be able to do that. And he's run with it, he's gone, right, okay, yeah, my rugby career's over, it's heartbreaking, I hate the fact that I can't play rugby anymore, but all the knowledge that he's learnt and is still learning, to transfer that so quickly into a new sport and a new career path for him is amazing.
Up until last year, really, I struggled watching rugby, and even watching my brother, get his kit bag ready. I just felt like I wasn't done with the sport. But over the last year, I really found my place in athletics, and I found a lot of love for it. And now I've come to really terms with the rugby.
But for now, to him to turn that dream and passion into something else and a new focus to have, I think his ability to do that is tremendous and amazing, and a massive inspiration for some of the youngsters coming through.
I think it's almost the most important thing, because that's why you do these things. You're doing it for a bigger thing than yourself, like it's for something bigger than you. And I think a lot of that is why I kept training, why I kept going. Like I could have just stopped after rugby was finished. Oh well, I can go do something else. But it felt like, there's something bigger that you've got to work towards. I mean, if this is your identity is there, you're a thrower, you're a Paralympian, you are going to inspire people, and that's, yeah, I think it's massive in the sport, massive.